Hello everyone. Welcome back to Touchstarved. What? Back with the dorky music. It's a little louder than normal. I think I recorded the sound and I was like, okay, that's not atrociously quiet. Because I watched the last ones and was like, oh, the music's actually really quiet. So that's crazy. But so last time I think we left off with, and don't worry, the next song is not loud. The next song is not as nearly as crazy as this one. Halloween Town's going bananas right now. But last time, let me let this end real quick. Girl, can you quit? The screaming's crazy. Okay. Anyways, so last time I think we had left off at where we were picking who we were gonna go with. Guys. I'm picking Leander. I'm picking Leander. I liked him the best. I don't care. For the second time today, I find myself squeezing through a crowd to reach Leander. Bark what? As soon as he sees me, his easy smile fades. Why doesn't he want me around? You alright, Kay? I have to try to remember all their voices. It's been a while since I recorded the last time. I'm not used to someone looking at me with such earnest concern. I've been through worse today. From the sound of it, you've had quite the day. How are you holding up? I'm fine. It hasn't been that bad. It's just been hot people kind of everywhere. That's a vibe. Well, I'm still alive, and that counts for something, right? Iridia is not an easy place to live in, but you get used to it eventually. Let's hope so. Leander signals for the bartender. I'm parched. Do you want anything? I'm okay. Just water, please. Make that too. Once he's ordered, Leander turns back to me. Did you at least try any good food? I had these fried dough sticks from the vendor near here. As soon as I begin describing my meal, his eyes brighten with recognition. The long lads from Wen's stall? You've got to try them with porridge. There's another stall about a block away with these rosewater rice flour cakes. Oh, cool. That sounds silly. Take one bite and you'll think you've been transported to some high-town patissier. That'll be so slay. Then, bam! You open your eyes and it's the same trash-lined streets as always. When he laughs, his hair falls over his eyes. He shakes his head and pushes it back. I'll show you sometime. If you've decided to stick around Lowtown, that is. The Iridia Leander describes is far different from the one I experienced, but if you live anywhere long enough, I suppose it becomes home. It seems like I'll be here for a while. Maybe I'll take you up on that. The bartender returns with a pair of glasses and pushes them our way. Cheers. Leander clinks his glass against mine. The ice-cold water goes down easy. It was surprising finding out that you'd all know each other. I didn't think Iridia would be so small. Do you know how many times I've tried getting them all in one place? It's impossible, like trying to herd a bunch of soulless. I take it you know them well. Depends. Was there anyone you're curious about in particular? This is the I have to try to lock in. So this is the assassin. That's the doctor. Who is this again? Is it that hot guy? The emo one? And this is the fox, obviously. Aes? So you're friends with Aes? Have been for a while, but he's rarely in town. Where'd you run into him? The Sea Spring. Leander chokes on his drink. He coughs violently into his fist before giving me a surprised look. You went all the way out there? How'd he treat you? He was up front. He was honest. He told me about the Sea Spring's power. He told me about how the Sea Spring's power comes with a heavy price. Losing your mind, becoming one of his funny, brainless pets. He sighs, pausing before he speaks again. Does that sound worth it to you, Kay? The only pets he has are soulless. Yeah, I know. I didn't mean it like that. Aes has my respect and takes care of his own. For a moment, Leander stares deep into the bottom of his glass. When he looks up again, the circles under his eyes seem even deeper than usual. Yeah, I'm looking. What? All those red-eyed minions creep me out. Can we talk about someone else? Oh, I can ask about everybody. Okay. Min, why not? Min's interesting. Not very forthcoming, though. Min, my favorite grouchy freelancer. What's your impression of them? Irritable? They didn't give me lonely vibes. They're a testy one. You got that right. Sometimes even paying Min for work can be a struggle. Min works for you? Contract only. Min refuses to join the Bloodhounds, but they take jobs from me often enough to qualify. Just don't ever call them a Bloodhound, okay? I'll get an earful. Curris. Do you and Curris work together? Occasionally. Did the mysterious, competent doctor catch your eye? Seems like a good person. Though it's hard to believe anyone's a good person these days. That's Curris. He works to serve the people of Lowtown. He's a miracle worker. Even if his bedside manner can use some work. Was it really that bad? Am I silly? I didn't even notice that it was bad. Do you think he might be able to cure my curse? Leander starts to speak, but pauses to consider me for a moment. Curse is good, but he's only a doctor. Besides, unless you're actively dying, he'll make you wait in line all day, like everyone else. Oh yeah, sure, ask about Vere. What do you know about Vere? Leander shakes his head slowly, his expression grave. Vere, a living example of the Cenobians' cruelty. Most days, they keep him on a short leash. I'm surprised you ran into him. So tell me, what'd you make of him? He's fine. I don't know. I don't want to know more, but I don't think he's necessarily rude. I think the character finds him to be rude, for sure. I don't... either. Is it bad? I guess hypothetically between he's rude and I want to know more, I suppose I want to know more. I want to know more about him. Wouldn't we all? He's mysterious, and not just because the Cenobium keeps him locked up. The way they treat him, it's just not right. Do you know why he's a prisoner? Nobody knows. He's been in prison for as long as anyone can remember. But whatever he did must have been awful considering the punishment. He's charming, but like any monster, he's dangerous. If you ever see him out hunting, you'll know what I mean. Leander swirls his glass, choosing his next words carefully. Don't fall for his looks. He'll rip your throat out for fun. That about covers it. Aren't you tired of standing? Let's find you somewhere to sit. Well, what about you? I want to know about you. Can I not know about you? Is that... okay, I guess that's against the rules. Dang, I'll just sit down. Leander pushes away from the bar, beckoning me to follow him. Okay. He leads me to a small booth hidden in the nook of a bar. A pair of bloodhounds notice him and immediately leap to their feet, offering their seats to us. That's crazy. As I slide into the booth, a web of graffiti scratched into the booth tabletop catches my eye. The deepest grooves form the outline of the dog from Leander's posters. Dozens of roughly etched names surrounding the drawing, some fresh and some well-worn. What is all this? It's a tradition. Whenever someone joins the Bloodhounds, they have to drink with us, and then they carve in their initials. Oh, cute. The barkeeper must love that. After the first year, she finally stopped charging me for extra damages. 2 years and countless drinks later, she added her own name. You're not planning on recruiting me, are you? He shakes his head quickly. Not yet. You need time to think about your own path. Do you know what you're going to try next? The question gives me pause. I take my hands out from under my cloak and rest them on the table. Do you think you can help me? Of course. We can find answers together. Leander starts to reach for me, as though meaning to take my hand before stopping himself. His eyes flicker to mine. I won't fail you, Kay. And if you ever need a taste of normalcy, I'll always be here for you. What? That's crazy. What are you talking about? My chest tightens at a memory of touching him. Yeah, I bet it does. What? Even now? Leander swallows. The table groans under his elbows as he leans forward. Oh, we're closer now. The booth is so narrow that he completely blocks my view of the bar counter. It's almost as though Leander and I are completely alone. I don't think that's right. If that's what you want. How did it make you feel? Just in case. Return. It was warm? Exciting? I don't know how to describe it. Leander rests his right hand on the table. He looks at me, smiling when I place my hand in his. Slowly, he begins to unwind the bandages, stopping ever so often to glance at me. Oh, this is getting intense. As my skin becomes visible, I cast a nervous glance around the bar, but as far as I can see, no one is paying attention to us. Leander squeezes my hand gently. No one will notice. He pulls back, raising his hand to his mouth so he can tug his glove off with his teeth. Oh, bark, what? The muscles in his forearm tighten as he flexes his fingers. Our eyes meet, and Leander offers his hand again. There you go. Hand holding on demand. A lump forms in my throat. I'm certain Leander sees it in my face, the flicker of desperation. His voice lowers to a whisper. Anything you want, Kay. Dun, 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 dun. This might go poorly. Save. Okay, Touch's face is in red, which is... Touch's face. He's gonna go crazy, isn't he? Well, that's why we saved. Oh, okay. We're requesting it first. Okay, great. I blurt out the first request that comes to my mind. Can I touch your face? Oh, sure. I lean over the table, hesitating before I reach for his face. When my fingers graze his jaw, Leander laughs softly. That tickles. It's fine, you can just... He takes my wrist, angling my hand so he can press his cheek into my palm. Warmth spreads under my fingertips. A surprised breath escapes me. Gently, I rub my thumb down the ridge of his scar on his cheek, and he shudders. His earring jingling against my knuckles. You're getting awfully bold. Yeah, and what? I've never touched someone like this before. And even though it makes my head spin, it's already not enough. I want to be even closer. Oh, that's crazy. My heart hammers, filling my ears with a pulse that grows unbearably loud until I pull my hand back. Are you all right? I can barely hear his words over the pounding of my heart. I manage to nod. Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry. I think I'm just getting a little dizzy. Nothing, don't look. He gives me a gentle smile, eyes crinkling at the edges. You've had a long day. You deserve some rest. Luckily, your room is just upstairs. Want me to walk you back? I shake my head and begin wrapping my hand back up. With each deep breath, my head feels more clear. I'm fine, but thanks for, well, everything. Remember what I told you. If you ever need a break from the chaos of the city, I'll be here for you. When I rise, Leander gives me one last smile. Good night, Kay. Good night. I wonder if that just is like a part of his route, if you do that or not. I don't know why it was in red, but it's scary. Maybe it signifies like an actual big choice rather than like a choice that doesn't really matter. I trudge up the stairs, but even as I leave Leander behind, the warmth of his skin still lingers on mine, burning through the bandages. Wait, what? Oh, I didn't know that it was... I thought we were already choosing. Oh, okay, so this is choosing. So then what was before? We'll test it out later. Okay, yeah, let's read all of them first. So, Vere, the chained charlatan. Vere serves as a warning of the dangers posed by the cenobium. As cunning as he is curious, Vere finds you fascinating and insists that he can help. But trusting him means entrusting your life to a collared beast with a lethal reputation. Can Vere protect you, or are his honeyed words a trap waiting to snap shut? Girl, I don't know. We'll look at his last, since that's what I want. He's so pretty. They're so pretty. Look at them. I'm playing, not really. Despite their cold nature and familiarity with violence, Min is just as desperate as you to get into the cenobium. Maybe you may be able to help each other, but they're keeping as many secrets as you. They claim they're dangerous, but they could be your only chance at getting into the cenobium. Okay. Kurus. Okay. From all appearances, Curris is a principled doctor of extraordinary skill, but you know little about the man beneath the professional mask, and Curris keeps even his friends at a cool distance. If you uncover his deepest secret, well... Oh, will you like what you find? Okay. Aeus, the demon renegade, an intimidating yet laid-back outsider. Aeus presides over a sea spring with unnerving powers. He offers you a miracle, but the price means submitting yourself to the horrifying presence at the heart of the spring. Will you gaze into the abyss for answers, even at the risk of losing yourself? And then the one I'm gonna pick because I like him most. I can't help it. I like him most. He's so pretty. Look at him. Leander's offers you something that should be impossible, a taste of normalcy free of your curse. As the first person to withstand your touch, he could change your life, but some things are simply too good to be true. Stop saying that! Leander promises to help unravel your curse, but what cost? Yeah. I want more! Okay, so I wonder if... So that's... I think that's all of them, right? Then, depending on... Yeah. So that's... Oh, wow! Okay, well then... Just cause I can. Let's go back to... I want to go back to... I don't remember which one. This one. And I want to see how... just picking someone else would look. So I picked Aeus. Morbid curiosity draws me after Aeus. I slink out of the back of the wet wick. Dun, 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 dun. The alley's dead silent. Not really what I expected from a fight. A dull crunch reaches my ears, then a thud. I peer around the corner of the building, careful to keep hidden. Dark, glistening red spatters the ground, spidering through the seams of cobblestone. It guides my eye to a collapsed body across from me. One so violent, the roughneck is now little more than a sack of crumpled flesh. Ew. Blotted with mud. That's crazy. Like, what? Aeus exhales, his breath misting against the cold air. Blood flecks his knuckles as he looms over the motionless body, his feet on either side of it. Fear spreads like ice in my bones. Not for me, girl. Girl, quit playing. Moments ago, he was only joking and friendly with the others, but now, Aeus's crimson eyes find me in the dark. Not running, Sparrow? I don't remember what I gave him, sorry. I warily rise to my feet, moonlight illuminating my face. I thought I was out of sight. Got eyes on the back of my head. I think that's around the vibes. Aeus steps off the roughneck. My eyes stay locked on the body. It's wet with layers of blood and grime, completely still. He's alive. Are you sure? Calling me a killer or a liar? A liar. Liar, which I guess is both. In that case, he's dead. I squint, and he smirks back. Don't believe me. To be honest, it's hard to believe anything coming out of your mouth. I'm a liar after all. His bloody knuckles catch his attention. He tries to rub them clean, but ends up smearing the blood around more. I keep making bad impressions on you. I didn't know you cared about my opinion. Just prefer you didn't piss yourself when we talk. Annoyance bubbles in my chest. Well, I'm not pissing myself, even with your bad impressions. Like the first time we met, Aeus chips away at my fear, replacing it with irritation instead. I don't really find him that annoying. Maybe it's just me, but I don't. Aeus kneels beside the roughneck and frisks him. I can't help but wonder if the crime was worth the punishment, but I hold my tongue. Deftly, Aeus's hands search through the roughneck's pockets. It doesn't take him long to find his prize, a cigarette and a matchbox. He strikes a match, sparks light up, his angular features with golden glow. Sorry, my throat is going crazy right now. It's distracting for a moment, but my gaze inevitably drops back to the muddy body. You're just gonna leave him there? Aeus draws deep from the cigarette. He exhales heavily, smoke curling past his lips. I breathe in the sweet, spiced scents of cloves. Ew. Just a little happy music with this little stinky body on the ground. As his tension melts away, he looks at me with cool, lidded eyes. Should I give him a blanket? Unbothered by the maybe corpse, he takes a seat on a crate opposite the bar. I stand awkwardly, forgetting why I came here in the first place. An unpleasant silence stretches between us. Weather's nice. Cold, murky, and humid, he means. I want to believe he's teasing me, but for all I know, this is pleasant for Iridia. Was Princess good company? Who? He takes another long drag. His metal rings catch the light of the cigarette in a red flash of red. The soulless who escorted you back. You named it Princess? Jealous? No. I return his smile. You have no idea. I think your nickname's more fitting. Sparrow. Not sure where AS got it from, but maybe I should tell him to call me by my name. But it's kind of nice. I don't really like Sparrow. Maybe that's just me. Not that I'd ever tell him that. Before I can dissect my feelings, I quickly change the subject back to the soulless. She was cute. She was kind of cute in a weird way. I glance absent-mindedly at my hand, remembering how she nuzzled into my palm at my touch. AS's eyes softened for a brief moment. Her dad wouldn't stop going when she got back. The group of them don't get much attention. Think she's cute now, wait till you see her tricks. You taught her tricks? Princess is a smart one. She'll learn anything if you have the right rewards. Sounds about right. The idea of a tamed soulless is still so outlandish to me. I was mauled by mindless, bloodthirsty beasts, and he's talking about them like they're pets. Well, they kind of are. But it's possible, all because of the sea spring. I need to get answers he wouldn't give me before. I carefully take a seat beside him on the crate, contemplating my strategy. He doesn't seem to mind. He closes his eyes, tilts his head back against the wall, relaxed. Without the pressure of his intense gaze, I feel myself ease up too, as long as I keep my attention away from the bloody heap across from us. I glance over at AS and allow my eyes to linger. What am I looking at? A sea glass-colored tattoo spirals up his arm, painting over... me too. Grooves of muscle. That's what I'm noticing. Yes, same. What? Who said that? Silver jewelry glints in the moonlight. It draws my eyes to his bare chest. Rough hands, carved jaw. Yeah, I'm looking too. What? His ears, his horns, his pupils. Everything about him is sharp. Even his fangs that only show when he grins. He has fangs. Not many scars though. Strange, save for the one cut through his brow. What? Dang, you're noticing way more than me, girl. Well, I guess I'm reading and I'm not really looking. AS is unmarked for how seasoned he acts. What's your verdict? I whip my head in the opposite direction. What verdict? Got a good long look. Are you impressed? Or do I need work? My face grows hot. I've seen worse. I guess I've seen worse. He responds with a low chuckle, draped in smoke. Keep staring then. My embarrassment spikes. He has such like Hwa-Chang energy. Like Hwa-Chang from, what's it called? Heaven Official's Blessing? Without thinking, I blurt out a change in topic. I have questions about the sea spring. Boredom eclipses his amusement in an instant, and he closes his eyes again. Of course you do. I thought I made myself clear. What you'd be giving up. Before you kicked me out to go drinking, I still need to know more. My turn for questions. It sounds more like an order than anything else. I bristle under his narrowed gaze. Fine. He takes a long pull of his cigarette and lets the smoke trail softly from his lips. Your curse. What about it? This song and dance is all too familiar. The selfish questions come first. What does it do? Is it painful? Can you control it? I brace myself for the inevitable onslaught. Is the thought of living with it really so unbearable? My dread dies with his words. No one has asked me that before. You've survived this long, unless you're running out of time. I'd wonder if it's really worth the sacrifice. He flicks the cigarette aside and props his head on blood-smeared knuckles. But what do I know? I'm just an outsider. My fingers fuss with the trim of my cloak. Ordinarily, I'd feel annoyed, but now my chest feels tight. You could have sold me if you were less honest. You're a shit salesman. I thought I was a liar. He thought, what? I changed my mind. We lapse into silence again. This time, it's surprisingly nice. The quiet, chilled air is a calming reprieve with this whack music going on. Yes, calming. Oh, now you just had to change the vibes and prove me wrong, huh? Well, I guess it's creepy now, but... You know, you didn't seem like an outsider back at the bar. A lot of people like you. A.S. raises a brow at me. I start by asking about... Okay, here we go. Now we can ask about everyone. Vere. I was surprised to see that you and Vere are close. Blessing and a curse. From what I've gathered, most people think he's, I don't know, an asshole? And water's wet. Dang, got him there. I wait for him to elaborate or add his thoughts, but he doesn't. So what do you like about him? He lets out a quiet laugh, as if amused by my question. A lot of things. You already named one. You like that he's an asshole? Temperament matches the drapes. He looks good in blood and better in tears. Interesting statement. Favorite thing's the tail. Sometimes it frizzes up a few. He catches himself and clears his throat. It's hard not to let the disappointment show in my expression. I'm just saying, they probably kiss on the weekends. I'm just reading between the lines. Vere's one of the most honest people you'll meet. Just don't listen to the single thing he says. I thought it said jingle. I was like, let's go Christmas. Those sound like complete opposites to me. Curris. I didn't know that you and Curris were friends. In a way. I help him in the clinic sometimes. Doctor doesn't let most people closer than an arm's length. And you do? Heart's always on my sleeve. Get the sense Curris was like that in the past. Must have been burned. He trails off after the last word, then shrugs. He opens up in his own way, as if he's relaxed enough. Cute. I don't know how to even imagine that. You'd be surprised, even if the doctor has an endearing side. I can't decide what's more intriguing. The fact that Curris has an endearing side. Oh, that's me. I can't decide what's more intriguing. The fact that Curris has an endearing side, or the idea that A.S. has managed to coax him out of it. Tell me, if you uncover any of his other secrets, I'd kill to know more. Men. Maybe men doesn't necessarily like you, but they definitely pay attention to you. A.S.'s reaction takes me a bit off guard. He growls and pinches the bridge of his nose, as exasperated as I've ever seen him. I make enemies as easily as I breathe, Sparrow. Doesn't bother me. But that dove's got it out for me for no reason. What? Maybe they're unsettled by the sea spring? It's not about that. Goes without saying that they've got some issues. Don't think they understand that you'd catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Honey has left a bad taste in my mouth in the past. It could be for the same reason as them. At least you're capable of a conversation. Do me a favor and teach the dove some manners. Thought they'd lay off eventually, if I didn't bite. Hasn't happened yet. I briefly considered the possibility that Min wants to get bitten. I'm not about to propose that, though. Leander. He is what I wanted to ask about. You and Leander clearly get along. You like Leander. Doesn't everyone? He's helped me a lot since I've arrived in Iridia. He even got me a free room at the Wet Wick. His charm's gotten him far, but for a leader, he sure likes it when others take control. Part of me desperately wants to ask what he means, but A.S. continues before I get the chance. Surprised we get along. I thought you'd be at each other's throats instead of drinking buddies. His smile is easy, but there's a dangerous edge to it, and it's hot. What? Leander's done a good job for a human. Naturally, there'll be a time when his resolve is tested. Same can be said for anyone, in this plane or the next. As for my resolve, well, stick around in Iridia long enough and you'll find out. I nod slowly. I can't decide if it sounds like a promise or a threat. Got any more observations, Sparrow? My main point is that, speaking from experience, being an outsider usually means you don't have friends. I don't. I level him with a tired look. Fine, I'll confess. I have one friend. Don't say yourself. How do you say that? Well, I'm not gonna try, so. My skin prickles at the name, hair standing on end. Who's that? A friend. Oh. It lives in my head. Oh, cool. It lives in your head. A.S. taps his temple with a finger. Right here. Scared you off yet? That'd be the third bad impression I've made on you today. No, I just think he's attractive, honestly. I'm stunned for a long moment, processing what he's just told me. Then I burst into a fit of laughter. You're serious? A.S. grins wide enough to flash his fangs. The fangs are so tiny I can barely see them. Deadly. It sounds so fucking absurd, I can't help it. On top of everything I've gone through today, it feels like I'm living a fever dream. I come close to death more times than I can count. Encountered tame, soulless, and a horrifying group mind. And now I'm supposed to believe that there's someone living inside A.S.'s head? It's literally not, like, unimaginable, considering how the soul spring works. He has the red eyes, which means he's probably, in some form or another, drank from the soul spring and is connected with everyone else, and probably the main body, which is probably whoever that person is. So, there are tears in my eyes by the time I rein myself in. A.S. waits patiently, lips quirked in amusement. Sorry, it just sounds so ridiculous. The tension that wound in my shoulders so tightly is melted away, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like I can breathe. I feel better. Dukas? Like Lucas, but with a D? Dukas, where in the redness are you? Raucous, gruff shouts rise in the streets, echoed by the sounds of heavy boots sloshing through mud. The voices... Oh. The voices share the roughneck's accent from the bar, the same roughneck who is still maybe dead, lying and bloodied across from us. I nearly forgot about him. I shoved my feet as their voices get louder. They're closing in quick. A.S. pulls me by the wrist out of the alley, away from the beaming moonlight. Oh, where are we going? We dive into a nook between buildings, veiled in the shade of tattered canopies. It's a tight fit. Is it now? Sorry. A.S. boxes me in against the wall, his body pressed against mine as he towers over me. For the second time today, the heavy scent of smoke envelops me, but this time cut with a metallic tinge of someone else's blood. Woof. A.S. pitches his voice low. Quiet. I can't go any lower, sorry. My heart leaps into my throat. I'm suddenly acutely aware of heat radiating off of A.S.'s body. The feeling of his leg grazing my thigh. The closeness of his breath. This is bad. I squirm against him and earn a burning crimson glare. Do we really have to? His hand covers my mouth, muffling my whispers, and shakes his head. Don't. Damn, he's over here. Dukas, wake up! A group of individuals, all brandishing spiked weapons, fill the alley. Once I get a glimpse of their violent sashes, I instantly know they're not just roughnecks, they're gangsters. Only gangs with a lot of influence would fly colors so openly. I wish I could see what they're doing, but A.S.'s arm blocks my sight. My eyes trail up to the teal markings. They coil around his arm, his bicep. They lead up to A.S.'s collarbone, to the cords hanging around his neck, and to the smuggest smirk I've ever seen. Yeah, let's give that a good save. And that's stare at his chest. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of options. My arms dart away from his face and follow the line of his necklace down to his chest. Yeah, they are. What? The way the pendant hangs above the line of his abdomen, just before the skin gets swallowed by darkness. A thrill jolts through me, my face hot beneath his touch. This can't be happening. Why am I getting worked up in this situation? I would. What? No plan. The voices in the alley grab A.S.'s attention this time. Shit, he's got more broken bones than whole ones. What kind of freak did this? Fan out and find the guy responsible. You three, take Dukas back to the base. At least he's still breathing. Dukas is crazy. He's giving dookie. The alley clears out as footsteps rush away from us. We stay still until they're distant, melting into a rumble quarter. Only then does A.S. take his hand off my mouth. When we finally step back into the moonlight, the night air is ice on my skin. I feel dazed and the need to keep my eyes off A.S. at all costs. Was that really necessary? Oh. The tremble in my voice is nothing but embarrassing. Staying hidden was the best option. Would be a hassle to run into them with you there. What, because I'm deadweight? Because 3 bad impressions are enough for one day. The answers are too vague for my liking, but he's probably right. Either way, I don't have the energy to argue. Come on, Sparrow. Let's get you home before you're framed for murder. Very funny. We reached the front of the wet wick too quickly, and I hate to admit, but I don't want to separate from Ace yet. And not just because he didn't answer my questions. He's infuriating. As easily as he makes me feel on edge, he can make me feel safe, secure somehow. Probably because he's strong, hot, and tall. You know where to find me. At the creepiest place in the world. Take your time before you decide to drink. I happen to like your shitty attitude. It takes me a moment to process it. Then my eyes flutter down to my feet. I'll keep that in mind. When I glance back up from the ground, Ace is already down the street, disappearing into a throng of people. No fanfare, not even a wave. Asshole. And then this is where we would pick again. No, I lied. Yeah, sure, yeah. Thanks for playing. So let's go back to here. Maybe we'll do... Okay, so how many are left? 3 of them? Yeah, so it's... There's 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah. Okay. We'll finish all of these, and because I believe that's all the content, that will be it for Touchstarved. And I don't know if they've made any updates or anything on this game. I haven't seen anything, and I'm really sad about it, but I really hope they're gonna make this game, because it's slay. So I'm choosing to follow Curtis this time. Oh, the organ's going crazy. Hold on. Absolutely not. Just rewind it back. I was like, I don't really want to hear that. Do something different, please. Okay, like, that's... Okay, so, hot on Curtis's heels, I squeeze my way out of the bar. Of everyone I've met, he seems the most likely to help me, and the least likely to murder me on a whim. Earlier this morning, he said I could go to the clinic for help whenever I needed it. Time to see if that promise was actually worth anything. I breathe a sigh of relief once I'm free from the crowded bar. Curtis, hearing me, turns my way. Kay, you seem upset. I take it the Amaryllis district is not to your liking. I pause to think about that. It's not so different from the streets where I grew up, though the clientele is much more colorful. That's not why I stepped out. You're not in need of more treatment after that fall, are you? I scowl up at him, and he holds out his hand in a mollifying gesture. I apologize, Kay. Please continue. About time, someone cuts right across me towards Curtis, stopping us both in the middle of the street. Even in the dim pink haze that seems to blanket everything, there's no mistaking it. The pressed white uniform and stiffly starched hat. Another Synobium cleric. I hastily step back, making myself as inconspicuous as possible. Can I help you? Nervous onlookers hastily part around Curtis and the cleric. The two form an island of white in a sea of teeming color. Enough! You know why I'm here. Then I hope you'll find this edifying. Curtis reaches into his coat and procures 3 tiny glass vials bound together with a thick leather cord, a silvery powder shimmering inside. This music is giving loud, and I don't know if it's just me. Because also my throat is totally wearing out. Okay, I'm gonna hope all the recording I did earlier to see if it was too loud is working. He gently flicks the glass, watching the contents swirl, and extends the vial to the cleric. This is it? They look extremely unimpressed. Appearances can be deceiving. He throws me a glance and a swift smile, but I'm too surprised to respond. Curtis was the first to warn me about the Synobium. No one I had met had anything good to say about them, and yet here he is, openly dealing with them in the Amaryllis district. I glance between Curtis and the cleric, who seemed to notice me for the very first time. Good night. They bow to Curtis and offer me an extremely perfunctory nod and disappear into the seething crowd. Kay, is something amiss? What was that about? Lower your voice. It is of little consequence. That's all you have to say? After the earful you gave me about the cenobium, you... Shh, be calm. He holds one finger to my lips and suddenly curl in like... What? Oh, which suddenly curl in like a cat-like smile. For now, please join me on a short stroll. Curse's golden eyes twinkle in the low light. He beckons me away from the main thoroughfare. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I feel like I'm losing my marbles right now. Down the street filled with vendors hawking late night snacks. Yes, Lay. Wait, what? Now powerfully curious in spite of myself, I hurry after Curse. Each of his long, graceful strides is easily two of mine. I catch a glimpse of his gleaming white coat disappearing around the corner of the street. The moment I catch up, the delicious scent of freshly baked goods flood in my nose. My stomach gives a loud rumble. 1 honey pistachio cookie, please. Coming right up. Without breaking his swift pace, Curse plucks the sticky confection out of the merchant's hand and offers it to me. The heavenly smell makes my stomach rumble once more. I take a bite without hesitation. Curse watches me with an indulgent smile, and I notice he hasn't gotten anything for himself. You're not hungry? You need not concern yourself with me. He stops mid-sentence, his eyes darting back to the way we came. The hairs stick up on the back of my neck. I turn just enough to peek over my shoulders, hoping I don't look too suspicious. Sure enough, it's the same cleric who waylaid us in the street, now wearing a thunderously angry expression. Uh-oh. Well, disappointment can be a learning experience. Glimmers of realization dawn over me as I stare up at him. What exactly was in those vials? Perhaps a rare, important alchemical catalyst, or some stale fish skin. The two do resemble one another, and it can be hard to tell them apart. Is he serious? I chance another glance at the cleric, who's now trying to elbow their way between the food stalls. A few people make their way, but don't even notice their efforts. The street is far too crowded with hungry patrons. Shall we? Without even a response from me, he glides swiftly into the crowd once more. Is there a point to all this? In addition to my personal amusement, I suppose I would like to show you the sights. He is serious. Or seriously messing with me. I'm not sure which. My diswit must show, because Curse's smile softens a bit. As I said, you have nothing to fear. He ducks into what looks like an abandoned doorway, but opens into a small covered market. The stalls here are full of more spices than I knew existed. Even taking a short breath makes me sneeze. Kura slows his pace, occasionally pausing to examine the insistent hawker wares. Wait. He looks up from the display of livid red leaves, each as long as my forearm. That's crazy. You said I have nothing to fear, but everyone in Iridium seems wary of the cenobium. People fear the obvious trappings of power, wealth, force, or a hideously ostentatious tower. For my part, I find such trappings merely disappointing. The cenobium once had great potential. They squandered it decades ago in the pursuit of trinkets, pleasure, and petty tyranny. Their narrow, prosaic interests have rendered them blind to all else that moves. I think that's the most I've ever heard Curse say on any topic. You sound like you know them well. Curse lets out a long, low sigh. You, Miss Little K. Familiarity breeds contempt, and I'm more familiar with the cenobium's crude methods than I would like. Now I'm getting somewhere. Something beyond vague warnings or swift deflections. I decide to press the point while I have the chance. Familiar how? Kura stops right in front of the display of pickled fruits, and I nearly run into his back. He steps aside at the last moment. His arm rests gently but firmly on my waist. I tense, but he's careful to avoid my bandaged hands. Our pursuer refuses to take no for an answer. Them again? I thought we'd lost him in the crowd. I crane my neck to look for the clerk, but Kura shakes his head. This way. The next street over seems to be home to a high-end brothel. Oh, crazy. It's full of steep stairways and shadowy passages, perfect for discreet trysts or losing persistent tail. Pink curtains and painted facades sprawl around me like a giant colorful warren. It only takes a few more twists and turns down blind alleys and narrow walkways before I'm completely turned around. Curris, however, seems to be following some map in his own mind. He takes each turn with swift confidence, guiding me with occasional nudge. The gaps between teetering buildings can hardly be called alleys. So narrow we have to pass through single file. We're going crazy in this town. This town is kind of wild, don't you think? Just a little further. The effortless grace with which he moves is almost infuriating. It takes every ounce of concentration I have just to avoid tripping over loose tiles, discarded clothes, and unidentifiable rubbish. Meanwhile, his long legs almost seem to float over every obstacle. His clothes are still completely pristine despite the soot-stained walls on either side. How the hell does he do it? I'm still trying to puzzle it out when I realize how warm it is, with me practically tripping on his heels. The tiny gap between us seems to radiate heat. The beating midday on my sun. Wait, what? Oh my god. Oh, guys, it's so over. I'm just letting you know now. I already have to cut this a lot, and I'm not going to cut this out just because I don't. It's going to be so much work for me to do later. I am so tired. It is literally, it's midnight. I don't know why I can't record at like a reasonable hour. Because I'm going to still be doing more recording after this. So stupid. So like, on top of me having reading issues in the first place, now I'm tired, which is just making it worse. So, sorry my reading is actually disgusting today. I don't know what that's about, but here we are. The tiny gap between us seems to radiate heat, like beating midday sun on the longest day of summer. This is probably that same choice that they've been giving us. Stay close to him. I definitely don't want to get lost here. I stay close to Curris as I can without actually touching him. I promise I will not lose you. Was I that obvious? Our eyes meet, and despite my best efforts, I find it hard to hold his gaze. I've never seen eyes like his. Despite our dark and dingy surroundings, it's like Curris radiates his own light whenever he looks at me. Thank you for indulging me, Kay. I believe we've lost our tale. Fun. I'm gonna sneeze. I'm like working up to it. It's much quieter on the edges of the Amaryllis district, and the deals in the shadows look shadier. Did you enjoy our impromptu tour? Relief escapes me in a tired laugh. After the day I've had, playing keep away from the Snowbeam cleric seems almost normal. Sorry, I'm dying. I think it's over for me. I wasn't in mortal peril, so it's a nice change of pace. He laughs too, a soft, pleasant chuckle completely at odds with his usual cool demeanor. Are you sure that we've lost the cleric? If there's one thing you can count on, it's the elitism of the Snowbeam's finest. They will not deign to follow us this far. He sounds confident enough. I was starting to wonder if we'd have to make a full circuit in the city to ditch them. A beam of moonlight cuts through the clouds, casting his face into sharp relief. However, I should escort you back to your lodgings. It would be unwise to let you go alone. What about you? Are you staying at the Wet Wick? Of course not. Then you're going back to your clinic alone? You just said that was a bad idea. He pauses, stares at me, then his expression relaxes into a gentle smile. Fear not, Kay. Only the most desperate or foolish would dare lay a hand on me. It sounds insane after 2 near-death soulless encounters, but part of me believes him. The few people who are... Ew. Sorry. I just felt like something touched me, and when I turned around, nothing was there. Ew, gross. The few people who are still out huddled beneath street lamps and in doorways, desperate to be as close to safety as possible. Curris, on the other hand, looks more relaxed than I've ever seen him. He's strolling down the middle of the street, bold as if it were broad daylight. Even walking alongside him makes me feel more secure, warmer both inside and out. I hang on to that faint spark of hope and screw up my courage. Screw up my courage. Did you mean it this morning when you said I could come back to you for help? Every word. All his earlier mirth vanishes, replaced by calm focus. I don't know what to say to that. I almost expected his offer to be a courtesy, an easy way to get me out the door. The fact that he meant it, why do you ask? I believe I've already made my intention to help you quite clear. His eyes flicked briefly to my arm, the one that he miraculously reattached when he found me. I could only imagine him counting the neat stitches. I just wanted to make certain. I'm still figuring out who's trustworthy and who's trouble. I see. It really does tend to attract extreme individuals, including you. Okay. I decline to incriminate myself in your eyes. I can recognize a smooth deflection when I hear one. Though, if he won't talk more about himself, maybe he'll tell me about someone else. I decide to ask him about Leander. Why'd you send me to Leander for help? Few know Iridia better than Leander. The company he keeps can be questionable, but I had confidence in him. Yeah, his bloodhounds seem rough around the edges. Leander has always preferred the company of those like him. Why the heck is music so loud? I think I'm getting quieter. I'm gonna turn it down ever so slightly. I'm gonna try to. The reason why I'm gonna turn it down is because I can't talk as loud. I don't know if you've been hearing, but my voice is getting more hoarse as the day goes on. I've just been talking a lot today, so. The survivors of low towns, harsh realities. You must have noticed how they flocked to him. I nod. He seems to know every single person in the Wet Wick. And that's a good thing? Leander's closest peers trust them with his lives. I would say that counts for something. Vere. How do you know Vere? Curse visibly stiffens, and I remember the venom in Vere's voice when he grabbed me. That doctor. It looks like the feeling is much mutual. Regrettably, Vere is one of my worst patients. How did you cross his path? He stole my room key. You are fortunate that he did nothing else. He is far deadlier than he seems. There's a reason he's not at liberty. A reason for the collar and chain. He seems pretty dodgy to me already. I hesitate waiting for Curtis to elaborate, but he seems to find even the thought of very distasteful. Dang, get ruined. Have you ever been out to see Aeus at the Sea Spring? I don't know why I said Dead Spring. Once. Only once? Seems like the spring with a miraculous power would interest a doctor. A long silence follows, so I'm not sure Curtis heard me. I'm about to repeat myself when he finally speaks in a near whisper. Aeus is a rare newcomer who has proven himself immediately worthy of respect. The Sea Spring is another matter. Hidden depths often contain unwelcome secrets. You could say that about anything around here. A fair point. Nonetheless, I've seen many purported wonders, and the Sea Spring is unlike any other. Only time will tell what that means. Min! You and Min sounded like you knew each other well. Curse heaves a long, suffering sigh. Dang. I know them better than most, and, well, and less well than I would like. Like you, Min is a recent arrival. Their time here has been particularly difficult. As much as I would like to help. He trails off, but I know exactly what he's talking about. Min didn't seem like the sort of person who would accept help easily. They do always pick fights that are twice... Oh, that's me. Do they often pick fights that are twice their size? I've implored them not to, and they rarely listen. With my curiosity satiated for now, I fall silent. I wish Curse had given me a little more to go on, but he seems almost as tight-lipped about the others as he is himself. That's true. He hasn't given us as much as everybody else. Like, most of the time when I ask someone else, they would say more. By the time we're back at the Wet Wick, the Amaryllis district seems even noisier than before. Drunken patrons overflow into the street, which reek of spilt wine. How am I supposed to sleep with all this racket? I suggest the stiffest drink at the bar, alternatively a bowl of wax. Very funny. Even with how tired I am, I'm not sure I'll get a wink of sleep. I'm about to say goodnight to Curtis when someone staggers out of the wet wick right into me. Dang, why are these people running into me? I stumble back, heels teetering on the edge of the filthy gutter. Kay. The next thing I know, a pair of warm arms catch me around the waist. I find myself staring up at Curtis, pressed against his chest. His grasp loosens, but doesn't quite let me go. Something shifts in his gaze, his eyes fix on my face. I feel myself growing hot all over at his intense scrutiny. What is he seeing me? What is he looking for? Curtis? My apologies. Even after he moves away, the warmth of his touch lingers through my clothes. I quickly tug my clothes straight, trying to recollect my scattered thoughts. Good night. Thank you for everything today. You are most welcome. He turns and slips into the crowd, though I can pick out his pristine white coat with ease. A chilly gust howls down the street. When did it get so cold out? Okay, and this is where we would pick again. Yeah, it's fine. Because it would start over anyways. So these two are the only ones left. I can't let men slip away so easily. They might be the most standoffish person I've met so far, but they're the only one who seems even close to neutral on the Cenobium. My gut tells me they know more about the tower than they're letting on. Hi. By the time I make it out of the bar, they're already halfway down the street. Drawing my cloak close to ward off the chill, I hurry after them. But at this hour, the Amaryllis district is full of carousing people. While Min slips through the crowd with surprising agility, I struggle to keep pace. The edge of their cloak flutters around as they round the corner. Determined to at least try to catch up, I take the same turn, into a dim side street. But Min is nowhere to be seen. Instinctively, I look for all the telltale signs of a person's passage, fluttering fabric or a just closed door, but I don't see anything out of the ordinary. No hiding spots either. I start to turn because that can only mean one thing. Didn't you learn your lesson from earlier? That Min doubled back. I'm almost impressed. There's not many people who could sneak up on me like that. They fold their arms pointedly, staring me down. They're so short. Everyone else is like way taller, but like they make him look like, by him I mean like Leander and stuff. Like Leander's so big on the screen. Like thinking about Leander and Aes, they're also big on the screen, but Min is so small specifically. Like, look at how tiny they are, and they're really like small framed. I don't know. Hello. Oh, I broke it. Oh, there we go. I thought nearly getting eaten would teach you that being out alone at night is dangerous. I'm not alone, am I? It's a good thing I'm not alone then, is it? Min looks at me in blank confusion for a moment before the realization dawns. Are you always so persistent? Oh, they're cute. I don't really know how to read them. They shift between aggressive and hesitant without warning, and I have no idea how to tell which they'll swing. But I can't help but feeling a little thrill when pink sweeps across their cheeks. I kinda have to be, it's how I stay alive. Min recovers their composure quickly, their mouths shifting into a frown. They glance away, eyes sweeping across the street. Their gaze seems to linger on a particular building, another tavern, by the sign outside, before they look back at me. You've been lucky so far, but it won't last. Nobody in this city is trustworthy. Not even you? Especially not me. I've met clams that open up more willingly than men, but even if they don't talk about themselves much, they must have opinions about, see, Curtis. You and Curtis seem to get along, though. The tense lines of Min's face softens. He's an exception. Few people are willing to help others, fewer when there's any risk involved, and of them, Curtis is unique. I have a feeling that Min doesn't smile often. Oh, you're so little. You're so little. But the curve of their lips, however, slight, is unmistakable. They catch themselves, their expression closing off with a near audible snap. He's not the worst. A decent doctor, even if he asks too many questions. Dude, I got ships in this game, honestly. I got ships going on. Vere and AS, and then I don't know what the vibes are, if this is like a protege, like leader, not leader, what's the word? Apprentice, and what's the word for like when you're not an apprentice, like the apprenticee or whatever. You get what I'm saying. I don't have to explain it anymore. I don't remember the word. It's too late. But nothing's really free here. You think he's just running some kind of racket? What? No. The rebuttal is too fast for anything to be anything but genuine. They huff, apparently annoyed to be caught being sincere. I just think that there's more to him. Though I suppose that's true of most people. Oops. What? Yeah. Yeah. How did you meet Vere? Min's face scrunches like they've bitten into a rotten lemon. That perverse flea bag jumped at me during the fog fall, so I stabbed him left him in the gutter where he belongs. Dang it, ruined, nerd. My heart thuds hard in my chest. Their voice is icy with disgust. The night air feels warm by comparison. It's only a shame it didn't stick. I suppose I'll just have to keep trying. Men speak so casually of murder. I vividly remember the sight of blood smeared on their hands. But somehow I'm not afraid. I don't think they mean to harm me. I take it your opinion hasn't changed? He messes with people for kicks. Every sentence out of his mouth is either a crass innuendo or a conceited put-down, and whatever he's done is bad enough that the Cenobium has him on a leash. There are monsters living on every other street. He's the only one who needs a muzzle before he's taken out on a walk. Dang it, ruined. Belatedly, I close my mouth. Leander. Leander seems fond of you. He's an idiot, an obnoxious blowhard who can't shut up to save his life. Look at the face, though. The words are harsh at face value, but it's completely at odds with the flesh creeping across their cheekbones. Is that all? They huff. It seems too physically painful for them to speak again. He does acceptable work. He pays on time, which is more than I can say for most, and his bloodhounds look after Lowtown. If he was capable of being quiet for more than 10 seconds at a time, it'd be almost tolerable. The tone grows almost fond, but their brow joes together as they glare at me. But I'm not one of his bloodhounds. If he told you otherwise, he's talking out of his ass, as usual. He has work to offer, and sometimes I take it, that's all. Somehow I doubt that, but Min seems disinclined to say more. Aes. You don't seem to like Aes. I don't like anyone, but especially not that bloodthirsty gangster. The words tumble from their mouth before I can even finish my sentence. Did he do something to you? Beyond existing? No, but I'm not waiting around to get hurt first. That sea spring he runs with all those smiling, red-eyed people. I suppose his one saving grace is that he hasn't forced anyone to drink from it yet. Monsters like him don't know or care what they have. It makes me sick. The voice echoes down the empty street, startling me. Sorry, I gave them like that flat tone. I really can't do much more. It's kind of like my voice is just slowly slipping into that. Like I'm starting to not be able to talk. It's so stinky. I blinked, staring at them. You really don't like monsters, do you? Min fixes me a flat gaze. Glaze? It's over. Their pale eyes, like chips of ice. Do they have pale eyes? Well, the pupils are red, so I don't know what that means. Every monster forced the way out of the shroud and into the world for some reason. I may not know Aes's reason, but the vast majority of monsters are human food, playthings, or beneath notice. That may simply be their nature, but I don't have to like it. And I'm not going to risk my life in the hopes that any one of them is different. A lot of humans fear or hate monsters, but there's something different about how Min talks about them. It sounds personal. If you're gonna keep asking me questions, ask me about something else. Doors bang open at the end of the street. Light and laughter pour out of the bar, followed by a group of giggling people in white uniforms. Cenobium students having a night out on the town. Min hesitates only for a moment before they start down the street, in the same direction as the students. Slay. When I follow close on their heels, they grimace, speaking through gritted teeth. Why are you still following me? When I ask them about Vera, I notice something odd besides their vehement dislike of him. While Min didn't exactly sound enthusiastic of the Cenobium, they were the first to speak of it without anything besides open animosity. Ahead of us, the students pile into another bar. Min ducks into the alley next to it. If anybody in this city is trustworthy, what about the Cenobium? The line of their narrow shoulders abruptly tenses. They lift their chin, giving me a wary look. Curris must have warned you about the nature of this city's currency. Right, information and secrets. I fidget, uncertain. I don't trust Min's unpredictable moods, or all the things they clearly aren't saying. Their eyes dip towards my hands, passing over the bandages like a razor. The pressure light, but full of keen-edged possibility. I shiver, hastily shoving my hands in my pockets. They frown, but their gaze drifts away from me, to the window of the bar next to us. It's opaque, either frosted glass or caked in dust, but some of the warm light diffuses out into the alley. The Cenobium is a place of learning. If anyone has questions that can't be answered anywhere else, the Cenobium might have a solution. Or at least that's how it was, once upon a time. These days the doors are closed to outsiders. That's about what I expected after how I was practically shooed off earlier. Just as I start to relax, they speak again. Whatever you're looking for there, the cost may be higher than you're willing to pay. The sheer hypocrisy of the words tick me off. What gives you the right to talk when you're doing the exact same thing as me? Dang, get him. What questions are you asking that only the Cenobium can answer? That's personal. So there is something Min is looking for at the Cenobium. I suppose that makes two of us. If they're following groups of Cenobian students around, they must not have much luck either. Everyone else seems to fear or hate the Cenobium, but you don't. They flinch, spurred onward by curiosity and my lingering annoyance. I press forward. You must know something about them, something you haven't told Leander or Curris, but they're not letting you in, which means you're not one of the outsiders. Oh, we've made them mad. In the space between one breath and the next, Min closes the distance between us and kiss. What? I'm playing. Slender fingers grip the front of my shirt and they slam me against the wall with shocking strength. He's a whittle. The force of the movement knocks their hood back, messy hair fluttering around their face. I'm standing on tiptoe. Really? Min lifted me near... Whoa, sorry. Min lifted near... Yeah, I'm just not into this right now. Not the game reading. I'm not into reading right now. Min lifted me nearly clear off the ground with a single hand. That's crazy. This skinny nerd? Quit playing. Well, assassin. I'll keep my mouth shut. The realization sends an electric tingle down my spine, but before I can begin to wonder what that's about, Min snarls in my face. You don't know what you're talking about. The angry twist of their mouth draws my eyes down to the beauty spot at the corner of their lips. I can't seem to stop staring at it. Yeah, I didn't see that, sorry. It's encourageously delicate compared to the fire in their gaze, the steel bone strength in their grip. But then, so is the rest of them. Neither do you. Neither do you. We're practically strangers, so why are you acting like you know anything about me? Your line of questioning isn't exactly subtle, and it's not hard to guess that this is something to do with your hands. You think you can use me to get into the Cenobium? Don't be naive. I don't get angry easily, but I can't afford to when a moment of carelessness could be fatal. But when they mention my hands, my temper flares hot. Who says I'm the one who needs you? Realization strikes me like a thunderclap. You're not getting anywhere by yourself either, are you? But you can't make yourself ask for help. You're stuck, and it's your own fault. Oh, they're so pretty. I brace myself, expecting Min to snap at me again. Instead, their gaze drops, falling away from my face. Their brows furrow in frustration, but the twist of their mouth is miserable. Their voice trembles almost imperceptibly when they speak. I know. This city only cares about what you can give or what you can take from you. Information, power, connections. If you're an outsider here, no one will help you. Nobody will even try. You don't belong anywhere. My heart thuds in my chest for an eternity. For an entirely different reason now. They seem suddenly very small. Alone, like me. Min. Min jerks backwards, releasing me so abruptly I nearly stumble. Maybe they realized how close they were. Maybe they said too much. Yeah. Press forward. Determined to not let this go, I press forward. Min takes another step back, but this time they're the one with their back to the wall. Look, we both want something from the snowbeam, right? But neither of us are going to get anywhere on our own. We could help each other. It's worth a shot, don't you think? Min sighs. They almost sound annoyed. But any real hostility seems to have gone out the window for them. You've made it this far already, I'll grant you that. But if you're looking for help, you should look elsewhere. If you stay too close to me, you'll get hurt. Before I can think of what to say, the tavern door bangs open again, and the snowbeam students spill back out, considerably drunker. Their ranks seem to have swelled with other barflies. Oh, got it. Ranks like number of people. The group floods back into town towards the greater tower, rising moonward. As I'm distracted by the commotion, Min slips away from me, drawing their hood up. I catch their eyes just for a moment, then they're gone, vanishing into the crowd. Okay, and then I think we have one more, maybe? Maybe? Yeah, Vera is the last one. I'm about to get pissed off. Of all the people I've met, dude, I'm gonna have to try to do an Oikawa voice with my voice sounding the way it does right now. And that's gonna be so difficult for me. So bear with me. I want you to imagine the voice of either Oikawa from Haikyuu, or I want you to imagine, like, Tamaki from Ouran High School Host Club. I'm just letting you know, while I speak, that is the voice I'm going for, and it's not gonna work. Of all the people I've met, only one left me with more questions than answers. Barry knows more than he's letting on, I'm certain of it. And if he's feeling as playful as he was earlier, I might be able to get information out of him. Still, lingering doubt looms heavy over my decision. Can I really trust someone who lies so readily? Returning to the bar is slow work, with the heavy crowd vying for drinks. I find Vere. He's leaning against the counter with his elbows propped on the edge and a wine glass raised to his lips. Not for the first time I catch myself staring and judging the looks I see thrown his way. I'm not the only one. Yet there's a clear ring around Vere. No one else seems bold enough to cross. One ear perks at the sound of my approach, but Vere doesn't so much as look my way, even when I slide onto the seat beside him. I didn't think you planned on sticking around. A free drink's a free drink. Even if it tastes like rat piss. Also, consider Astarion as well. Slide that in here too. Astarion, Tamaki, or whoever I said that other time. Didn't you say that you wouldn't be caught dead in this place? Barry takes a delicate sip from his glass, but his tail thrashes below the bar. You've caught me red-handed. He peers at me over the rim of his glass, in the low light. His eyes glittered jewel bright with amusement. What? How will you ever punish me? I figure my company's punishment enough for you. Barry's lips twitch and he smiles despite himself. So, you've survived the night. Are you here for praise, or will a head pat do? I feel a muscle in my jaw flex with a cruel twist to his smile. His arrogance has made a full recovery, meaning only one thing. Very has sobered up. So much for my plan. About that, it turns out you were right. I did run into trouble. Now I can't decide if you're an oracle, an actual threat, or just completely full of it. Very scoffs. Most would buy me a drink before insulting me. After the way you jerked me around, if anyone's owed a drink, it's me. Very fall. What's this sick music coming up? Okay, kill him. Very false, so uncharacteristically quiet that for a moment I fear that I've actually crossed a line. When he props his chin on his wrist. I don't think you understand how things work around here. Information's a luxury, one you flung carelessly aside. I'm not following. If you valued my words, you'd have taken them seriously. I gave you free advice, warned you of the danger you were in, and you still went prancing off to the sea spring. Small wonder the soulless didn't tear you to ribbons. My first impulse is to argue, but what he said doesn't sit well with me. How does he know what happened to me? How did you know I left? What did he say? How do you know I left Iridia? I'm certain I wasn't being followed when I left. I have a very sensitive nose, remember? Right, how could I forget? Do you normally greet people by shoving your nose into their laps like an overeager Labrador? For a heartbeat, Varia's eyes grow wide and flat. Then he laughs under his breath. Only for the ones I like. Varia trades his empty wineglass for a long-abandoned tumbler, sweating beside him. Soft lumps of ice bob in the watery dregs of whiskey. But the truth is, I despise most people. His eyes flicker over my shoulder, and thin as Leander's boisterous laugh. Wait, what? Oh, I get it. As Leander's boisterous laughter erupts from the other side of the bar. What about me? Why did I sound like that? Guys, it's over. My voice sounds so bad right now. Now that we've started off on the right foot. He turns, angling so he can look over me, his gaze agonizingly slow as it glides over me. Finally, his lips quirk. I haven't made up my mind about you yet. It's a start, or so I think, until his eyes slide away, and he turns back towards the bar. It's not Vary's attitude that bothers me. No, I expected that of him. It's the fact that I've got no idea how I'm supposed to hold a conversation, much less get answers when he's being so testy. And his foul mood is infectious. Did I do something to piss you off? He lets out a short breath. No. Another lie. I'm close enough to catch the subtle bristling of his tail. I'm just disappointed. People like us can't help but attract danger, yet you seek it out for what? Cheap thrills? I wasn't trying to get eaten by Solus. There's something I'm looking for. And you think Min can help you? Leander, are you really willing to risk your life on those idiots? What life? You've got no idea what I've gone through, or... Forget it. I start to rise, but Vary touches my shoulder. It's a little more than a brush, but enough to give me pause. His eyes search mine, softer than before. They couldn't even begin to understand you, but I could. I could help you, if only you'd listen. How do I know I can trust you? You don't, but I'm slightly less inclined to waste your time with empty flattery or insults than those two. Hey, maybe I like empty flattery. Is what you really desire worth risking your life for? If you knew the kind of life I've lived, you wouldn't be asking. Will you trust me? Yeah, sure. I nod, and he rewards me with a small smile. Good. Vera raises the tumbler to me, and then snaps back the dregs. Once he's finished, he wipes his mouth off with the back of his hand. Let's talk. Outside. If I have to smell Leander's scrunkly aftershave for much longer, I'll hurl. And with that, he slips away from the bar, leaving me to follow the path of his long, trailing tail through the crowd. Slay. It's so cold outside. The breeze cuts clean through my bandages, freezing my fingers. But if the chill bothers Vere, he doesn't show it. He lopes purposefully down on the street into an alley. This far from the wick, the bar's racket's a little more than an indistinct hum. This street's as dead as the Amaryllis district was crowded. Did Vera want privacy or no witnesses? You had questions? Ask. Fairy's breath mists in the dark. In the cold moonlight, his shadow stretches unnaturally long over the cobblestone street. Quickly, I've got a show to attend. Heavenly ludists, as I'm sure I've mentioned. He looks down the nose at me, effortlessly impervious, with one hand set on his hip. And for a breath, I'm reminded of the stark want that gleamed in his eyes when he touched me. If you weren't so pretty, I'd walk away. But I need answers, and I can't think of a better way than starting with the people I met earlier. If Very doesn't prove trustworthy, maybe one of them will. First, I ask about Aes. I'd like to know more about Aes. You two seem close. He made an impression, not surprising. He's strong, ruthless, easy on the eyes. Gives it almost as well as he takes it. Even if he's awfully greedy. Big everywhere, really. You know, I thought I was reading into something that's not there. You are blushing and you just said he was big everywhere. It's canon to me, thank you. Bit simple, but you know what they say about still waters. I don't, but I'm too distracted by the chains that's come over to Very to ask. A coy smile plays with his lips as he winds his finger on the chain dangling from his collar. I thought you didn't like most people. Aes isn't most people. He's better. Our eyes meet, and Very's tender expression curdles. I ship it. Ship. The ship is crazy. Take your man. I think that they'd be cute. Slay. We're done. She's sold. I'm sold. He makes a tiny sound of distaste in the back of his throat. He's more trouble than he's worth. Dangerous, too. Stay far away from him and those red-eyed freaks if you value your safety or your sanity. Is that why you scold me for going into the sea spring? I really don't think Aes is that as bad as you're saying. You don't know him. Not like I do. The corner of his lip twitches. Min. I've got to admit, I was surprised to see that you and Min know each other. Are you friends? Oh yes, we laugh and go shopping. We have sleepovers where we braid each other's hair and kiss with a little tongue. I'm beginning to wonder if Vera's ever had friends. Let me guess. You don't like them. Can't stand them. The first time we met, they stabbed me. Slid cold, hard steel between my ribs. Nearly nicked my heart. It was exquisite. The knife, I mean. Some sort of antique. Min's done nothing but disappoint me ever since. So you're not close. Can you imagine being friends with that crabby little killjoy? Impossible. Not unless they learn to lighten up. And I'm afraid not even a surgeon as practiced his curse could remove the stick wedged firmly up Min's purted ass. Get God. What do you think about Leander? I don't. Dang, get God. An unusually curt answer for Very. I don't buy it. So you're not very fond of him? I wouldn't spit on Leander if he were on fire. Very shudders. Oh no, he'd enjoy that far too much. To call Leander trash would be an insult to manure. He's a pathetic, slimy little man-child in big, shiny shoes. I've seen mutts rutting in gutters with more dignity. I have to remember to close my mouth. Before I can ask the next question, Vera gives a frustrated growl. Don't you dare ask me about another soul. I haven't got all night for idle gossip. But I wasn't finished asking. You get 2 more questions. Make them count. So much for being helpful, but I suppose that's just how information works in this exhausting city. No more time for idle chatter. Get straight to the point. Leander told me that the Cenobium imprisons people. Did he mean you? Leander's a moaning fool with a throbbing victim complex. He loves to see himself as a savior, but the only difference between him and his cronies and the Cenobium stooges are the uniforms. I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what surprises me more, the bluntness for which Very spoke, or the venom lacing his ordinarily silken words. You're asking who when you should be asking why, says the asshole counting my questions. He throws me an infuriating... The look he throws me is infuriatingly self-satisfied. Fine, why were you imprisoned? For the same reason they'll disappear you, given half the chance. I'm something special. Fairy bows his head, gathers his hair in his hands, and lifts it from his shoulders to bear the plain leather collar adorning his neck. See this collar? He cranes his neck, inviting me to lean closer. Looks unremarkable, doesn't it? I had assumed that Vary's collar was a personal touch. I would never assume it was a personal touch. On a closer glance, the thick, supple leather is molded to fit his neck snugly. Must be uncomfortable. But the large silver buckle seems easily enough to pry open. Well, because we're touching the collar. I reach forward to touch the buckle, but Vary's hand lashes out. Long, slender fingers wrap around my wrist, exerting just enough pressure to hint at how easily he could snap my bones. Don't you know better than to touch without asking? He tuts like a scolding teacher, but an impish smile grazes his lips. Oh yeah, you didn't ask me first. So why would I? Our eyes meet and he grins. Because I said so. That's not very fair. Fuck fairness, life isn't fair. His voice lowers to a pleased rumble. Patience, Kay. I'll tell you when you can touch me. Behave, or I'll make you bleed. He says with a smile so sweet it hurts. Is that a threat or a promise? Barry doesn't answer me, but he lets go of my arm. I smooth down my bandages, more to get a grip than anything else. I can't lose my composure again. By now, I'd fully expected Barry to begin walking away, but the fact that he's still here suggests that he either forgot about his warning, or that he was never counting my questions to begin with. Are you saying that what will happen if the snowbeam finds out I'm different? I'll be collared? Doubtful. They keep me around because I'm the best at what I do. And what exactly do you do so well? Killing. He says it carelessly, without hesitation. As long as I wear this collar, I'm made to hunt the snowbeam's dizzying array of enemies. Monsters, soulless, noisy, distant. Who grow overbold. I'm bound by their will until the day I die. That's awful. Very murmurs in agreement. It is, isn't it? And that's all you're getting from me? I really must leave now. I'll be late. That's it? Why'd you bring me here if you weren't going to explain anything? He has the nerve to laugh. Isn't it obvious? I just wanted to lure you out here alone so I could eat you. You're lying again. And you're asking far too many questions for someone hiding so much. He sneers, and reflexively I shove my hands deep into my cloak. What makes you think I'm hiding anything? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's the tough act, or the way you tense up at the slightest provocation. More likely it's the bandages. Not exactly subtle, I'll be going, unless you're willing to share some morsels with me. There's a biting edge to his playful tone. I can't tell you anything. Wrong. You can start with what you are. I take a step backward, but my back hits a wall and Very follows me in lockstep. I turn only to find his left hand resting on the wall beside my head, caging me in. Hi. Very reaches for me. His fingers curl around my chin and lift, forcing me to meet his lidded gaze. Hey. Would you believe me if I said that the eyes are the windows to the soul? My eyelid twitches. Cliché, I know, but let me tell you a little secret. Very leans in, and his lashes tickle my cheek, and the warm, faintly spiced scent of his hair drowns out the stench of greasy cooking fires and chimney smoke. There's nothing you can hide from me. Oh, look at his face now. His voice is so low, so supple, I could slip into it. The betrayal, the hope, the loss of hope, the sheer desperation that drives you. Still to search, and search to no end. Oops. I could give you something new to live for. I swallow thickly. How could he possibly know? No, this must be some kind of trick. But for once, Fairy isn't smiling. All that suffering has made your soul so irresistible. His piercing eyes pin me to the spot. The look on his face makes my blood run cold. I've seen it before. Traveling through the waste, the lanterns would occasionally reveal carcasses, picked clean with starving scavengers whose eyes shone dark within the same ravenous hunger. Very takes a shuddering breath. You're trembling. What if you and I went somewhere quieter, alone? Sure. I'm sick of running, of hurting, of suffering. Surrendering completely is the easiest thing I've ever done. Yo, am I about to die? Before I can finish, Very hushes me. A gloved thumb runs across my lips, bringing the taste of leather when it dips into my mouth. He bends closer and closer, and then he snaps my plan. Through the gauzy veil of his hair, I see shadows spread in whirls of smoke, eddies of darkness peeling off the walls and blooming to blot out the moon. Yo, am I about to die? Sensation flees with the light, leaving me numb to everything except the sudden pressure of the hand tightening around my throat. Oh, I died. Damn, that's crazy. Something snaps, and the bitter tang of copper floods my mouth. Very's lips crush mine, and he swallows the reedy thread of my final breath. This time, death comes swiftly and permanently. Oh, I wonder if you can get other ends that way. I think they had said that there was a bunch of endings, and I think I just conveniently didn't get any of them. I think I literally just, didn't get any of them. Okay, let's resist. Part of me wants nothing more than to let him take me, to surrender to him completely. It would be so easy. But I'm not about to give up now. You're late, the lutist. Very blinks. His voice comes out soft and breathy. Shame. His eyes... Wait, no. He eases back for what feels like the first time since he cornered me, and I breathe. But my relief is short-lived. Nimble fingers trail down my jaw before closing on my throat. The touch is feather-light and teasing. But my pulse still leaps. Very's lips twitch into a smile, his white-ringed pupils thinning with amusement. You're fun, Kay. Even if you frequently forget your place. But if you ever call me a dog again, I'll break you. Understood? When did I do that? When I narrow my eyes at him, he smiles wide enough to flash a sharp white. His flash. Wait, what? It's so over. You get it. Yep. Yeah, it's fine. As soon as Very releases me, I sink against the alleyway wall to catch my breath. He looks down at me, his expression distinctly smug. Let's get one thing straight. I ate a monster 3 times your size for breakfast. 2, actually. The first tasted dreadful, like a fisherman's old ashtray. But that's beside the point. You and I may be alike, but don't forget what I am, or what I do best. He flashes me a dazzling smile. Kay? Anyone seen Kay? Leander's voice echoes from the directions of the wick. I whip around. I nearly call back, remembering Very's apparent distaste for Leander. I glance back at Very. Only he's gone, vanished into the dark. I'm left in the deserted alley, trembling with delirious mixture of exhaustion and excitement. I let out a long, shaky exhale that condenses in the freezing air. Only once my racing heart slows do I make my way back to the wick, guided by the distant sound of Leander's voice. And then I would pick Leander again. Okay. That's everyone. Everything and everyone. Let me slow. I need you to chill with the organ. The organ always is crazy. Okay. Stop so I can actually hear myself think. Dang. Let's put that down a bit. I think it's probably fine, but okay. So that is actually all for Touchstarved that I think there's probably some bad endings, as you saw. Like, I got at least one of them. I think that they even said, like, if you go to the website that it's on where you can download it and play it yourself, I'm pretty sure it says that there's more endings. I guess I didn't get them. I guess I was too down bad for everyone and didn't fail. I don't know. I really think Very was the only one I failed on, and it's just because I don't really care for Very very much. Not that I like dislike Very. it's more like just really not my type. I would say Very is not my type, Min isn't my type, and even Curus isn't my type, which is why I kept trying to choose Leander. Leander and Aeus are like bark right up my alley. Personality and appearance, and then just appearance. Anyways, but I think this is all that's here for Touchstarved. If the studio ends up releasing the game, I will buy it and play the full thing. Cause I want it. Cause I want it and I'm greedy. But I haven't seen anything for it. I have been looking. Okay, well the music's just gonna turn off because I went to their little website or whatever. But yeah, I haven't seen anything about it. Like at all. I'm kind of going around their website and stuff, and they haven't put anything up in at least 6 months. So, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure if anything is gonna be happening, because I remember I looked up, like, I was trying to figure out when they were planning on having the game come out, and I didn't end up seeing anything. So, yeah, I did just sign up for their little, I want messages about it. But yeah, that's all I've got for now. That is also the end of Touchstarved for us until later or possibly forever. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye.